Let's start with energy security. We're seeing a crisis in the Crimea. Ukraine is involved, Russia's involved, Europe's worried. What do you think of the situation?
Well, it clearly affects energy security, there's no doubt about it. Not just for Ukraine, because Ukraine was the historic switching point which brought all the gas from Russia to Europe through the Soyuz and the Brotherhood pipelines, I think, were the two through Ukraine. There are more now, but Ukraine still provides about a third of the 30% of the gas that goes to Europe and keeps the lights on. So it's very important. And Europe's always been dependent on Russian gas. It's never had a problem. It's never been interrupted to Europe as Europe. It's obviously been interrupted to Georgia, but they've never had a problem. But it's always a concern. So the big deal of energy security, of course, is diversity. More sources needed.
Well, what's the solution to this then? Because it does make people who in the UK and other parts of Northern Europe worried, particularly in the winter when
Sure.
it gets chilly and people have been encouraged to use natural gas for heating purposes.
Well, there's of course storage, first of all, and there's quite a lot of gas in storage, but that only gets you through a few days. But it's getting more sources. So in the case of Europe, it's LNG imported from...
That's liquid natural gas.
Liquefied natural gas comes in ships from places like Qatar and Australia, and so it comes in. There are more pipelines of gas from Russia, which bypass places like the Ukraine.
But isn't in this case, isn't Russia part of the problem?
Well, yes, indeed.
Right, so Ukraine isn't really the problem, it's
just
going
if someone
through there.
cut a pipeline, you know. And then there's domestic gas from the UK and from Holland and from Norway. I like to think we should keep further expanding gas supplies and other energy supplies as well. So one of the ways of doing that is to try and explore and exploit the shale gas resources
This is
of
the
Europe.
hydraulic fracturing that we've heard so much about.
Correct.
It is controversial. People worry about the water supply, and we've all seen videos of the tap being turned on and someone lighting it and flames up. That gets people worried, because I don't know if I'd want to drink that.
It's not. It actually causes people to dread the activity, and in fact, that movie I think has now been proved to be false. It's gas produced by rotting vegetation rather than from fracking. But be that as it may, it's easy for someone like me to say, don't worry, it's all safe. And I do believe it's all safe, let me say. But we need validation. And I think the validation is that so much of what's happened in the United States is actually done very well. And that good news stays at home. And some things which are not good, some problems, pollution of water table and so forth, that bad news goes overseas. So we have to make sure that whatever's done in Europe learns from the worst and best practice of America and technically ensures the populations that it can be done safely. And I believe it can be.